Yes, greetings, 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 greetings. I'm back again. It's me, Ruben, with the history of Kemet. Just come with another video, following up from the last one where we was talking about the first intermediate period on the history of Kemet. Yes, going through from the 7th dynasty through to the early parts of the 11th dynasty. We were talking about during the 7th and 8th dynasty when the nobility took over and overthrew the royal monarchy and took the throne for themselves, and how it was a time where the throne could be bought and sold. They made a mockery of the whole system, really, and the throne could be bought and sold. People were kings for a day, all this kind of thing, and didn't really work as a system. By 20 years, it would be all over, and they would be that would bring in the 9th dynasty, where a single noble lord garnered enough influence and power to be able to take the throne for himself and to be able to hold on to it for a certain time. And his rule would be marked by the fact that he was a brutal ruler, an evil ruler, somebody who enslaved the people, slaughtered the people, starved the people, kind of put them under a whole lot of pressure, oppressed the people in a big way. Yeah, so that would mark the 9th dynasty, and that would kind of morph into the 10th dynasty, which basically is the 9th dynasty shrunk down because the people in the south, indigenous people, the indigenous Kemet people in the south would take control of that region and form their own rule, making the 11th dynasty, which would operate alongside the what would be then the 10th dynasty of the nobles who were in the north. Okay, so that would operate, they would operate as a system, they would operate alongside each other for around 70 years. Yeah, so they would operate more or less peaceably alongside each other around 70 years, and that would go on until the nobles from the north decided that they wanted to invade in the south. So this was the game changer, really. This is what brought the end to the first intermediate period and brought in the Middle Kingdom period, because the ruler in the south, whose name was Mentuhotep II, in retaliation, he retaliated to the invasion in the north. So you're talking now about 2022 BCE, and basically, like I say, the kings in Upper Kemet have been prepared to live in peace alongside the neighbors in the north until they invaded. This was a retaliation because they had desecrated the first dynasty tombs at Thanis. Okay, so the noble rulers in the north invaded down south, desecrated first dynasty tombs at Thanis, and this drove Mentuhotep II to send his troops into conflict with the north. Okay, it was clear to him those who did not respect in faithfulness the ways of the great ancestors did not deserve to sit on the seat of the great ancestors. Okay, so the war would result in Upper and Lower Kemet being reunified under the rule of Mentuhotep II. Yeah. So what would happen? He would kind of mark the position of the monarchy by bringing in this system now where the ruler would be deified. Okay, so that system of deification of the monarchy would be reintroduced as a means of securing the reign of peace and unity throughout the land. Yeah, and marking a return to the ways of old. So by doing this, it's kind of they're protecting the people. They, by having the respect for the monarchy and effectively the ancestry, the Kemet nation, and the roots and its roots, everything behind it, spiritually and all that. By doing that, by deifying the monarch and respecting the monarch in that way, that they are kind of pledging an allegiance to the nation. So that system was reintroduced, and it's kind of another way also of asserting that they were kind of descended from the true royal line. Okay, so the 11th dynasty would end up bringing the two nations together, and this would carry on for another 70 years before the introduction of the 12th dynasty in 1991 BCE. And it was founded by Amenemhat, right? Amenemhat the first, who was a military leader under Mentuhotep IV before he overthrew him. Okay, his rule would be marked by his military campaigns into the south, into Nubia, and north into southern Canaan territories. Right? So that would take place during this dynasty, and within that time there would also be strong trade links made with territory in modern day Lebanon and Greece. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little piece, some notes that I wrote down before. Amenem, it's a bit of a tongue twister, his name. Amenemhat the first. Amenemhat's actions were in initiating military conflict against Nubia and the Asiatics, showed his intentions with regards to border expansion. This also gives a hint of their possible or probable multicultural heritage. Yeah, so I kind of, when I was writing that, I was looking at some of the quotes and some of the principles of their ways at that time. So they're talking when they're invading into Nubia, when they're invading into all these other border territories, it's in honor of their ancestors or their ancestry. So if they believe that their ancestors came from Nubia, and Nubia is outside of the borders of Kemet at that time, then it would be their duty to conquer within to that territory, so that they're bringing honor to their ancestors. So the fact that suddenly there is this kind of steps to go into Nubia, and these steps to go, followed by these steps to go into southern Canaan, then that shows that there is some kind of multicultural leaning, should we say. Yeah. So his son, by the way, Senusret, would in his time divert his attention away from Canaan and start a military campaign against Libya. So Libya would become the focus for him. So again, this kind of shows that now, by this time, the 12th dynasty, the rulers are kind of quite mixed culturally. Yeah, so they're not just indigenous Egyptians, if you like. They are they have also other cultural leanings, such as Libya, Canaan, Nubia. Even though Nubia, in a sense, Nubia is the original, kind of the founding place, as it is viewed in the ancient kind of doctrine. The people moved down or up north, downstream of the Nile from Nubia and beyond, going right back into Central Africa, yeah, around Kilimanjaro and the Great Lakes. So the kind of the psychology or the philosophy is basically about spreading out their borders into and kind of bringing honor to their ancestors. Okay, bringing them back into the fold, you could say. So that was a 12th dynasty, and that would before I move off the 12th dynasty, I'd just like to mention that there was a conscious attempt to revitalize the old 6th dynasty cultural icons and motives. Yeah, so that kind of links into what I was saying about bringing the ancestors back into the fold. So, like all those bordering territories that haven't or don't have the acknowledgement of the old kind of Kemetic traditions. They want to awaken that in these people as well. Okay, so it becomes very important, so that in the system, if they were to be welcomed in, then they would have a greater appreciation or greater understanding of the roots and the culture of the Kemet people, and the kind of the heresy, what had taken place during the first intermediate period, wouldn't be repeated. Okay, so the 13th dynasty would start around 1803 BCE. Yeah, and basically it's just effectively a continuation of the 12th dynasty, but this time they're contending with an independent territory which is formed in the northeast and is under Canaanite influence. Yes. So basically, the border territories in the northeast with Canaan would go under Canaan influence, with obviously with the blessing of the Kemet rulers. Yeah. So this was because as I alluded to earlier when I was talking about the 12th dynasty, those friendly relationships had been formed with Canaan, with Lebanon, with Greece, and through those friendly relationships that had been forged, this would allow this Canaan influence rule to grow and to be allowed to flourish in that region within the border territories. Okay, so that would carry on. The 13th and the 14th dynasties operating alongside each other. The Canaanite territory will also get support from Nubia in time, around from around at least 1705, I think, when the Nubians kind of got independence or regained independence from Egypt, and I think they were kind of agitating for the Canaanite territory to get independence from Egypt as well. So the 14th dynasty was starting to get some support from Nubia, but I think there wasn't a lot of conflict between the 13th dynasty and the 14th dynasty. I think they were operating quite well with each other. Okay, and that would continue through until around 1649 BC, when the next dynasty, the 15th dynasty, would be introduced. I'm not going to go into that in this video. We'll talk about that in the next one. Alright, so we won't get into that right now. So for right now, we're just going to leave you, and we're going to say blessings to you all until such times when we come with the next installment. I'll see you then. Bye. Yeah, so if you like the video and you like what we're dealing with, why don't you come and check us on our Facebook page, Afraka, Know Yourself.